Greetings to you. I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday, a wonderful holiday. Well, today is back to work. We continue with the fight. There may be some good news that is coming Guyana's way. There is always good news in the horizon when we consider the beautiful country Guyana is, the fact that Guyana is now in the golden age. The best years are ahead. We are now in the good years, and the great years are yet to be realized. And we would help the best we can to usher in the great years of Guyana. Good things may happen. The opposition leader might be on his way out. We'll explore that. I want to talk about the two children that tragically lost their lives. I also want to talk about the misinformation that Ajudin is spreading, supposedly on behalf of Guyana. I also want to deal with the fact that we can't do anything much about what's happening in the Middle East. Like I've said before, they have warned us. They told us this is going to happen. It's happening. Welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I am Dr. L. Prasad. It's good to be here with you. It's Wednesday. It's almost the middle of the week, and it will be soon the first quarter of the year. The countdown is here, and apparently those who are taking advantage of it while the rest of us are asleep. Let me start off by saying this. I want the best for the Africans, but there are certain things that society cannot reconstruct. It's a cultural thing. And only the African themselves need to bring about a change where their domestic, immediate, or intimate standards lie. The wider society really can't do anything about it. We've had the case, unfortunately, of that child, Adriana, who lost her life due to negligence of her grandmother and other older relatives. She lost her life to water by drowning. But the chaos that the haters of Guyana's independence, Guyana's democracy, and Guyana's progress, the chaos that they unleashed on the neighborhood, on the facility, to this day, besides the WIN supporters and the mother and father of that poor child, nobody has got justice. The WIN supporters, meaning Ajudin supporters, got justice because they damaged infrastructure. They burned the hotel down. They burned the man's house down. They terrorized the Indians. They beat up on people. They threatened people. That was their justice. The mother and father, they made money. They get to travel to go to the US. They enrich themselves on a lie. Unfortunately, for the PNC, the wider Afro-Guyanese community got to realize what is it they were doing with that case, politicizing the case and using it as a premise for them to continue what they usually do, rob, loot. So the wider Afro-Guyanese community saw that PNC did not deliver leadership to what they considered their constituents. Instead, they fanned the flames so that all of that chaos continued. And PNC got their justice. They came from 28 seats to 12. That was their justice. But the rest of Guyana, the good citizens of Guyana, are yet to get justice from the mayhem that was created on the basis of a lie that was peddled by people like Azruddin Muhammad and his camp and the blood money hounds that were after money from that poor child's strategy that was as a result of her grandmother and other relatives that were there that turned their backs. It's a typical African culture. Now we have two children who were in the company of their mother. Their mother on a day of Pagua, when children are obsessed with water. Obsessed. Any bit of pool they see, they want to jump in. I know I was a kid once. I know what we do as children around Pagua. I know. Let me go back to that point. When I was a boy, in Anna Katrina, just about 12 years, I am fully aware that as boys, myself and other boys and older boys, on Pagua morning, we gather ourselves. There's a trench right there. They call it the trench. Right there. And in the trench, they usually have a board that people would go to dip water to do their farming and whatever else they need the trench water for, because the water was of a good quality. And we would jump in the trench, right through from the seawall right to the public road. Almost every extension into the trench, you had children jumping and playing. But those who couldn't swim, we stayed where our feet could touch the mud. It was a thing. It's unfortunate that those children lost their lives. But don't blame this on the government. This ain't no ritual. This ain't no pump station wanted lives. I mean, what's wrong with you Negroes, man? Everything for you is obia. Everything for you is obia. You're killing each other. You're killing each other every day. Gun violence. You're stabbing. You're beating up every day. You don't attribute that to obia. But when children lose their lives as a result of negligence of their parents or the adults in their care, you blame it on the government. It's Ali's fault. Somebody wants to sacrifice their children. What the fuck is wrong with you? Isn't that why the black race is so suppressed and dumbfounded that they can't find the spiritual growth? Because everything for them is witchcraft. Everything is witchcraft. So if witchcraft is so powerful, how come it can't help you to get out of poverty? How come it can't get your son out of jail? How come it can't bring your husband back home? How come it can't get your wife to stop cheating? But it works for Indians, but it don't work for blacks. Those children, like any other children, if they can sneak away from the eyes of the adults, they're mischievous. We were once kids. For those of us who are adults now, we know what we did. We know what we did. This is why, instead of judging the system, from the time you would have learned of the situation of the Adriana child that died by drowning, and so many other children unfortunately lose their lives, their innocent lives, because adults are sucked into their phones, not paying attention, or they're busy flirting somewhere, or the women are walking around in their bathing suit trying to get men's attention, forgetting that they have a young child with them or they have children there, thinking somebody else would look after their kids while they move around to get their own attention. How could the mother of those children justify losing contact with the children? How? You mean the mother was walking in front and had the kids at the back? She never turned around to see where they may have gone? Or she went to talk to some friend or relative, whoever it is, and just took for granted that the children may have gone into the neighbor's yard or some shop or something like that? Why don't we question the mother of her activities around the time the kids were with her? What was she doing? How could she have missed her daughter? If you're walking together, that child would have had to drift all the way to the edge of the trench, to lose her balance and fall in the water. Or the child would have had to would have been walking over that concrete bridge, the two sides there that you saw, and fell in the water. How the child wandered away from the mother all the way to the edge of the trench and slipped in. And the boy didn't scream and shout and say, "Mommy, mommy, 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 look," and she fell in the water. How none of that happened? Nobody heard. Until bystanders may have seen whatever and they heard the child missing, whatever, then they ran to the rescue. What is it that they're saying? They didn't hear the screams. They didn't hear the screams of the children. They didn't notice until a long time after, minutes after. Then they realized the children were missing. What was the mother busy with? What does this got to do with the pump station? What does this got to do with the pump station? You go across the country, as a matter of fact, any fucking country. Visit Suriname. Go to Brazil. Go to any country and see how they drain the pump stations. Any country. And while you are there, see if you see any notice there to say don't jump in the water. Go check. There's none. In the same way, you advise your children when they're using the public roads, wait, look left, look right. Then you cross the road. Use the pedestrian crossing. But yet, unfortunately, children are losing their lives while crossing the road. Unfortunately. There are enough signs on the roadways everywhere to tell you where to cross, when not to cross. There's a stoplight. They're telling you. You want a pump station to have a traffic light there too? To tell adults, don't make your children come and play in the water or come close to the edge of the water. You need a signboard to tell grown-ass adults, grown people who should have known you have underage kids. Don't let them go on the road alone. If they're with you, let them walk in front of. That's how I was raised. When I'm with adults, they say, no, we don't want you to back, walk in front. My mom would say, I want to see you in front of me. Walk not to the side of me, walk in front of me. So how do you miss them? Because they walk at the back while you're busy doing your stuff. Like I said, I am blaming black people. This is not unique to these two children. It is a cultural thing. Black people are not careful with their children. They are not. They're home and they're on their lazy asses, and they're sending their kids to buy cigarette, to buy rum, to buy bread, to buy all these things at a shop alone. 6-year-old kids, 7-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids. This is a typical fucking thing with black people. So shut the fuck up, man. You're blaming the government for this. Take responsibility. It's not the first time. It's not the first time. You people keep doing this over and over and over and over again. And you're always blaming somebody else for your problems. Take responsibility. It's your fault you keep losing the children. Your sons are 14, 15 years in prison. Your fault. Your daughters are pregnant, 10, 11, 12. Your fucking fault. In the system. Take responsibility. There are trenches everywhere. Everywhere. The children couldn't swim. It's Pagua. You see water. Girl children are curious. We know that. So if we are going to assume that the boy saw the sister and jumped in to save her, how do you know that? If you were close enough to see or hear the boy screaming and shouting for his sister, and then go after, why didn't you run faster than the boy and jump in and save the child? Why didn't you do that? You cooked up a story, oh, the boy saw his sister, and the boy, how do you know that? How? Negroes, it's time you stop this nonsense. Every life matters. The life that you push out matters more than the life that you're carrying, which is your own life. If you can't be serious and responsible for the lives that you push out, don't expect society to be responsible for the lives you create. You created the lives. You should sacrifice your life for the lives that you created. It's in the government's responsibility. Stop politicizing this thing. Stop doing it. Because no matter how much you politicize it, it is not helping the black race. It is not helping. They're blaming somebody, always blaming somebody for their problems. And the political so-called circles are looking for any least thing that they can capitalize on. Look at all those fucking losers running with camera at that site. To film what? To film what? A pump station draining water with all your theories? Go around the country, like I said. Go to any country, around the world if you have the opportunity. And go at pump stations. And see how they drain their water. Go. Look at the data. How many children died by drowning? Look at the data. And see how many died by a pump station. Go look. Most, if not all, died by drowning because of poor adult supervision. It's a problem with black people. They never learn. Blame the system. Threaten somebody. It's not your fault. It's Ali's fault. They wanted to sacrifice children for the pump station. Yeah. Continue with that bullshit. Don't change your ways. You people don't change your ways. Keep on with that. And the next 100 years from now, the next 100 years from now, you Negroes yourself is going to find yourself on another physical, not mental this time, physical slavery. Don't change. Keep that mentality. Keep blaming other people for your problems. See what happens. Now, on the same note of Negroes, we saw 2 obese black women from the Ministry of Social Services dragging what is considered to be a delinquent young lady, black female, on the roadways. Apparently she don't want to go with them, so they say, okay, grab her by the hair and the hand and drag her. You're going to come either way. We live in a society where black people have no secrets. Black people live their lives in the public. Everybody knows how black people live. Everybody knows. Everybody. That sight with these two obese women dragging this delinquent teen on the road, how is that something new? You have seen this before. You live in black neighborhoods. You see how black people treat their children. You see, you know that. This is what they do. This is what they do. And the only time they tend to extend emotions or so-called care and compassion is when somebody else fuck with their children. Then you hear the screams and the shout and the fake tears and oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But they themselves, black people themselves, especially black women, who because of their actions and their lifestyle, no man wants to be with them. So they keep jumping in and out of men's bed, bringing children for all these men. So when they're stuck with 5 and 6 kids for different men, and they themselves only have a GED or none at all, they're working as a janitor or they're selling somewhere, they can't feed themselves because they eat so much, they take out that anger on their children. And they treat their children terrible. Every baby daddy that hurt them, they are abusing the child for that baby daddy. And if it's not their kids, worst, even worst. They take it out on the children because they can't take it out on the men. Typical black women. So what you saw there is nothing new. Why should it be breaking news? The girl is obviously horny. What else delinquent girls do? What else? They fight with other girls because of some boy. They don't want to perform in school because what? They need dicks. They're horny. They can't get access. Or they're kissing some other girl or whatever it is they're doing. What else? It's all about sex. It comes down when girls misbehave in schools, that you need the social services or the police. It's about sex. They want dicks. That's it. It's not as if you don't know. You were girls too. You know what you did. So ain't no breaking news. It's a black culture. Leave it. You're lucky they didn't strip her because they do that too. They strip their clothes to embarrass them. They do that too. So that's decent. Dragging is decent. Right? You're blaming the Minister of Social Services. That's an Indian woman. That is an Indian, Indo-Guyanese woman. She ain't black. When you see Indian people treating their daughters like that, when? When? The most you find is that you have some asshole, some Indian man, some asshole slapping his wife around or slapping his girlfriend, or he wants to kill the woman and kill himself. That's what basically they do. But to see Indians treating their children like that in public, you don't see it. Because they value what they produce. They don't do that. It's a black thing. Chinese don't do it. Indians don't do it. Caucasians definitely don't do it. Who does it? Niggers. Negroes. So fuck it, man. That's how they live. Leave them. Who gives a shit? And as usual, the opposition leader that is on his way out, he would capitalize on any situation, to make it look like, oh, look, the government. Oh, look at the government. You forget PNC was in power, right? PNC was in power. And let me backtrack a bit there. Did PNC build any pump station? Did they dig any trench? What did they do? They were in power. They were in power. How many trenches How many pump stations they rehabilitated or trenches they cleaned and put signboards? No playing in the water. How many? Let them show. Let Shelroy Duncan, let that lady, let that fella show throughout the country where the PNC, his party, put signboards and was removed by the PPP. Let them do that. If you're going to accuse the government now of something, then show that you were doing it better. Show you were doing it better. You're making an issue now of cash grants. Oh, the budget is passed, but what happened to the cash grants? You fucking niggas are so bent on cash grants, man. Get a job. Get a job, man. Work. You're bent on cash grants. Again, how many cash grants you give out as PNC? How many? Oh, we did oil? We didn't have oil. But you came into government and you took over a policy that was already in place by a party that was running the country and giving out all of these because we care grants without oil. The PPP were giving grants because we care and all of these facilities without oil. You came into power, PNC, and you removed it. So what are you talking about now? You fucking bunch of losers. So Azruddin Mohammed, even now the Speaker of the House, Mr. Manzoor Nadir, even now you should act. Don't wait for a conviction. Because Azruddin Mohammed is caught peddling fake news, peddling misinformation, and pushing conflict statements in the media against Guyana's biggest ally, the Americans. The opposition leader is working overnight to bring sanctions on Guyana so he can have an excuse to incite public unrest, to incite violence, to derail the whole procedure against him. And I make reference to the statements he made not allegedly, there is evidence to that. He made in the masjid and statements he made on his social media platform regarding the Middle East crisis, pushing and inciting ideas that the Americans are anti-Muslim and they're trying to demolish the Muslim world. They're committing, what was the word they use? There's some word they use that they call it cleansing of the Muslim world. This is what he's pushing. And there is evidence where he actually said it in the masjid. Imagine a masjid where you're going there in this time where the Muslims were going to meditate and pray and fast and these kinds of stuff and talk about healing. He was taking politics, racism, and prejudice, being a bigot in the masjid. Since when he has the authority to take a mic and speak to other members in the masjid? Is he a Meiji? Is that how it works? What happened to the standards of the masjid? He is talking about people who come into the masjid to speak and all kinds of stuff. And if you haven't heard it, I'm repeating. Azruddin Mohammed said on video, homosexuals, lesbians, other criminals should not come into the masjid to pray. They should not. He said that. As opposition leader, after he would have been sworn in as opposition leader, he went into the masjid in the month of Ramadan and was preaching to the others gathered there, and they filmed him. It's an AI, it's not AI like his father, claiming his AI. He said it twice, and also further incited further that since President Irfan Ali is a Muslim, He is joining with the West, meaning America, to destroy the Middle East. He didn't have to say that in an actual sentence. That's what he's insinuating. That the president didn't turn a blind eye to his crimes as a Muslim, and that what's happening in the Middle East, what the Americans are doing, the Muslim brothers should stand together and resist this. He is saying that in Guyana, in the capacity as the opposition leader in a democratic country, the fact that he is indicted by the very country that he is attacking, this is dangerous. So the Speaker of the House shouldn't wait for a conviction. On the basis of the statements the Mohammeds are making, he should be evicted from the parliament. He should be stripped of that oath he took. What are you waiting for? Bombs to fall in Guyana? To get rid of this man? What the fuck is wrong with you people, man? You're getting, this man is giving you all kind of resources to use against him. He's begging you to come after him. And you're waiting for the big one? There will never be a big one. On the social media platform, the man is talking about all the conspiracy stuff against Israel, against the Middle East, against Donald Trump, against the war in Iran. Suddenly he's a patriot to Iran. Okay, we know that his hands were tied in the Maduro situation, linked to Hezbollah and linked to the Iranian regime, the Ayatollah. We know all the evidence led to that. So we understand he would be sympathetic towards the killing of the Ayatollah, because of course the Ayatollah is his god. He's a Shia Muslim. So Shia Muslim, they look up to the Ayatollah. Imagine if Azzuddin was president of Guyana. Guyanese, think for a moment. With the statements that he's making, the position that he took, calling for Muslims to unite. That's what the Ayatollah calls for. That's what the terrorist calls for. Muslims to unite for what? To fight against the West? Look at what's happening in Lebanon and these other countries. It is the mentality of the Shia Muslims, like the Mohammeds, that are causing Syria, Lebanon, and all these Middle Eastern countries to be bombed. And the innocent amongst them, who are also Muslims, didn't subscribe to that, but is the toxic ones in their midst, the terrorists, the militants, that are making the entire country suffer. Azzuddin has the resources. He has a lot of scripts behind him who would be blind to the money he can offer them to start militant groups, to start terrorist organizations, maybe they already do, and put Guyana in danger. You're waiting for a court case that may prolong, as he said, for the next 5 years on the Judge Judy? Or will you act now? You have so many cases that are pending on the Mohammeds. What happened to the Suku charges? What happened to the case with Suku and the illegal cambio? What happened to the alleged election interference by using money to silence a witness in elections time? The woman that doggy slapped with a gun, that it's alleged that the Mohammeds were paying her. I mean, we saw the video. What happened to all of these cases? The vehicle cases, unlicensed registration, all of these cases, what happened to them? You can't convict him on any of it. You have to drop all of it because of one extradition case that can very well prolong for the next 2, 3, 4 years, when you can use what you have at your disposal, any one of it, that you're certain to get a conviction, and convict the asshole. You can try that within weeks. Convict the asshole, even if it's a traffic violation and he is found guilty. If he is found guilty in a court of law for a traffic violation, that is a conviction. You can evict the fucker from the parliament. What are you waiting for? For the Americans to say, oh, you have an opposition leader that is inciting this kind of division against the Americans, who happen to be a Muslim extremist wanted by the Americans, still operating in Guyana legally. Guyanese, Mr. Manzoor Nadir, save us from this shame. You have all the weapons you need. All the weapons you need. And further what the Mohammeds are doing. Further. I advise you. They're trying to hijack the elections that's coming. The People's Progressive Party, the same way how you got fat in Ramatar's time and you lost the elections to Granger, the same way how you almost lost it in 2020, you wake up for 2025. You won 2025 by a large margin, you go on sleeping again. You forget what's in the society. You go on sleeping again. And while you are sleeping from overeating too much, the Mohammeds are in survival mood. And when people are in survival mood, they're desperate. They're clinging to a straw. But in the Mohammeds' case, it's a whole log, not a straw. A whole log they can make a canoe out of, because they have the means to cling on to it. Now it seems like they're controlling prominent groups on Facebook that are allegedly controlled by PPP's personnel, not party personnel, but PPP supporters, because they start targeting me. A while now, but I'm going to talk about it now. Before the elections, when they thought Mohammed didn't have a chance, he didn't have a chance. Some of these groups on Facebook, the administrators themselves contacted me, asked me to join their groups, and say, we would love for you to share your post. I mean, they suck up so much, these fucking idiots. I can tell, hey man, you make Indian people look bad, some of you shitheads. Some of you shitheads, you make Indians look bad. You sound like fucking Negroes. They suck up to me, they slime. I wish I had the text to show you. But that account was dismissed. If you see how they begged, all kinds of fancy names they call me. They think that the way they approach me is going to entice me to want to work overtime for the PPP. But I told them, I said, hey, you got to tell me that shit. I am a Jaganite. I don't need your patronage or your sweet talk or your one-time donation to work for the PPP. I'm a Jaganite. I do it anyway. Don't insult me like that. So when I started this new account a few months ago, they invited me again. And other people sharing my stuff in these groups. Suddenly, about 2 months now, I get constant notification that the admin denied my post, the admin this, and then people start sending me messages, hey, what's up? I used to share your post in this group, but now the group is rejecting me and the group blocked me. So I said, no, maybe it's a mistake. So I did myself. I said, okay, let me try it and see. So when I tried it, they didn't block me. They just did not approve of it. Then quietly, while they would allow it to go through, like a few days after that, they would go and delete it. These fucking hypocrites, you know, when they think it's like, okay, they delete it. So I thought the day before yesterday, somebody said to me, hey, what's up with these people? I said, okay, I'm going to address it. I'm going to look into it. So now I'm talking to you, asshole, because I know you watch. You follow me on YouTube, you follow me. So I'm talking to you directly. You are a fucking hypocrite. You're an asshole. I am now convinced that Azruddin got to you. You want to eat both sides. You're pretending to be PPP. But then on the other hand, you're censoring people like me that the world knows is pro-PPP because Azruddin and the PNC and whoever else you're sliming up to and taking money from is telling you to delete my post from your group. You're a hypocrite. You're just like the pandit in the Azruddin's camp. You're just like Charan As. Those are the kind of Indo-Guyanese you are. Charan As and the pandit. For a few dollars more. And it's people like you, because the fact that the PPP is strong, it's not easily broken. But what you guys are doing, it's hypocritical. Because in these groups, there's one of the groups, they call it Guyana old pictures, something like that. Guyana old pictures, something like that. One of the groups. Then the next one, I forgot the name, but they're run by Indo-Guyanese. I don't know where they're based, if it's America or Guyana, but they're run by Indo-Guyanese. Because black people don't have the brains to put together groups like that. 90% of the groups on Facebook in the diaspora of Guyanese are run by Indo-Guyanese, not Negroes. Okay? And these Indo-Guyanese are pretending to be PPP supporters, but they're taking money from Azruddin Mohammed to block all the pro-PPP posts from the groups. And they're pushing the post from Win. If you check these groups out, you will see how many Team Mohammeds and all the people from the Mohammeds, their posts are allowed in the groups. It dominates the groups. And what is even worse, anti-Israel posts, anti-America posts, anti-Ali posts are lambasted in these groups. They call themselves Guyanese. And this is what they're helping to push. So I would advise you now, folks, save yourself the embarrassment. Don't share my stuff in these groups. Share it on your page. Okay? They forget that these groups grow when more people visit the groups. That's how they grow. So seem like they only want to attract black people, which translate to win supporters on the PNC. They don't want Indians in the groups. So leave them. Leave the groups. Join the groups that you find that are pro-PPP, that are transparent, and you know that they are for the government, for the party, for the country. Join those groups. Leave the others. Because they're pushing a narrative that is anti-America, anti-Israel, anti-Guyana, anti-Irfan Ali, anti-PPP. That's what they're pushing. And you might be vulnerable to consume this. Elections are coming. Azruddin is investing heavily on social media, on TikTok, on YouTube. Heavily he's investing to buy over all the influencers out of Guyana. No matter where in the world you are, they're getting to you and paying big money to change the rhetoric in favor of Win. because the PPP supporters are fucking sleeping. You think you're indispensable now. You better wake up. The man is desperate. Azruddin is desperate. So even though he might be extradited, his party still stands. And as an act of sympathy towards him, a lot of people might very well put their votes towards the PNC. The PNC. Because win is PNC. Don't get it twisted. So you, members of the PPP, you have your resources, you have your whatever it is. You need to counteract what Azruddin is doing. If Azruddin can reach out, you people better be lucky that they can't get to me. They try and they keep trying. There's a person who is working for the Win camp that is every day sending me messages. I ain't block him. I don't do that. Every day. And most of the messages he's sending is that, why are you standing with the PPP? I have this to show you that this is what they do. This is what they do. I mean, come on, Azruddin has his faults, but they're trying to lure me. They're trying to work on my emotions to make me sympathetic towards Azruddin. They've been doing this for a long time. But I maintain my point. Azruddin is a criminal. He hates black people. He hates poor people. And he would have his opportunity. He and his father would have their opportunity to spend years unracializing themselves in federal prison. And they have to learn to love black men in federal prison. On that premise, why would I be supporting PNC? Because Azruddin is working for the PNC. I support the PPP. And I'm doing it because I love my country, because I love Guyana. So while you actors of Azruddin Mohammed are doing your best to penetrate my heart in favor of your boss, it wouldn't work. I just want to see members of the People's Progressive Party get out from their rosy turkey chicken and their air-conditioned offices and their huge vehicles, get the fuck out and connect with people who are doing their best to keep the narrative of the PPP and President Ali alive. If not, Azruddin is going to get to them. And everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. You know Indian people. Don't say you don't. So the fact that Azruddin could get to these Indians that are running a lot of the Facebook groups and cause them to flip overnight, it meant their price became familiar or known to Azruddin, and he has the resources. He can channel money to whoever. I mean, he was able to give the American lobby firm $250,000 American dollars. How? Have you wondered how? Was it wire transfer? Couldn't do that. Was it via a bank? He couldn't do that. So how did they get the money? He has his ways. The Win party obviously would have had an account to the bank, right? The party would have to say where they got their money from. So if all of that became legal, that the party Win was able to secure accounts at a bank and conduct wire transfer to the US to a lobbying firm that has ties to Congress and the American government, tell me how the hell he wouldn't find a way to pay those influencers in America to influence on his behalf? Tell me how. No matter where you are in the world, if you have a large Guyanese audience, Ajudin can get to you because everybody has a price. I am the only one that ain't bending. They reached out to me. So all I'm saying is, to the People's Progressive Party supporters and those who have the means, don't take this thing for granted. Social media is very, very powerful. Very powerful. Gone are the days of television. Social media, very powerful. If you don't capitalize on it and you allow Ajudin's money to dominate it, you will regret. We have elections coming up. There are lots of things that can happen in the future that influencers can influence, like protest. So be careful. Anyway, that's about what I wanted to cover for today. And again, share this video, share this live. I want to hear from you. I want to listen to you. And let's make sure that we build our momentum. Subscribe to this channel. You can trust me. Guyanese, I want you to understand this. You can trust me. I'm not a rich person. And a lot of you who are thinking, win people, that I'm making thousands from donations. No, I'm not. I'm not. And that is the truth. I'm not making thousands from donations. I'll be embarrassed to even tell you. So if I was influenced by Zelle donations or Western Union donations, I wouldn't be here. As a matter of fact, I would be on the win camp. If it was about money for me, I would have gone a long time over to win, because they pay good. That's what I heard. They pay good. The billionaire pays a lot. He needs the coverage. His advertising dollar is huge. I'm talking tens of thousands. Yeah, big money. If I was influenced by that, oh, come on, man. You think I'll wear cheap suits or some cheap watch? Of course not. But I'm not. So that's why you should trust me. You can trust me that at no time, no matter what the offer is, no matter from who, I will never turn against the People's Progressive Party. It will never, ever happen. So I want you to understand this. All the WIN people, all the PNC people, all the black people, bear this in mind. Don't waste your time. You can't influence me. You can't bribe me. You can't, it's not possible, because I will never, ever forsake Cheddy Jagan's legacy. Never. All I want is for the Guyanese who stands behind the People's Progressive Party and who stands behind this government not to be hypocritical. If you are with the PPP, you are with the PPP despite. You can help to change it from within. Joining WIN or joining PNC, you ain't changing the PPP there. You're showing your weakness. You're showing how vulnerable you are, what a hypocrite you are. If you're standing with President Ali, you're standing with Guyana's greatest president. Dismiss the rhetoric from WIN about anti-Israel, anti-America. Don't join it, don't share it, don't subscribe to it, because at the end of the day, we cannot exist as a nation without America. We can't. So we need to stand and support America 100%. 100%. I am with Donald Trump. I am with America. I don't want to go there. I like their foreign policy. I like their policy. And I support Guyana's government that supports the American system. So don't think I'll always tell you what you want to hear. Because you express your sentiments against the system publicly, I'm sharing with you publicly how I feel. At the final hour, we need Azharuddin Mohammed to be dismissed and stripped from the parliament as opposition leader because he's putting Guyana in danger. He's endangering Guyana's future. And the government, the parliament, the Speaker of the House must act now to remove Azharuddin Mohammed from the seat of the opposition leader. It has to be done now, today, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for your attention, and until next time, goodbye.